Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
Ali, I'm your daddy.
Aaliana, I'm ready for you to come out. Like 2 months ago.
Your mama wants you out.
Yes.
True?
True.
You got 3 days. We're gonna see you. We love you. When you come out, it's a crazy world. We just got rid of Trump.
It's a crazy world. We just got rid of Trump.
But coronavirus is out here, so nobody can see you.
Oh my god.
And come to the hospital and see you. Like, mommy and daddy gotta wear masks just to push you out. Just imagine your mom gotta wear a mask to try to push you out. Pandemic. Coronavirus. But because we're going through this pandemic, we wanted to make this video so you can understand what we had to go through and what your mama had to go through to get you out of here. Look how big you is. You ready to come out?
You got me feeling like, yeah. Yeah. Bottles of Patron and I'm feeling kind of tubby. Yeah. You know we feeling twisty. She know that. She know that. We sing a song. You got me feeling like, yeah. Yeah. Bottles of Patron and I'm feeling kind of tubby. Yeah. You know we feeling twisty. She know that. She know that.
The effect of uterine relaxation, and so oftentimes people stop contractions too, okay? Because there's been a change, I think I also want to give you some betamethasone, which is a shot that is steroids that helps the baby's lungs mature faster. You've probably gone through this before, so you know. So I want to take a chance.
Wait to the camera. Wait to the camera.
So obviously we want to do things if we need to. So if you feel like your bag of water breaks, if you start to feel kind of pressure lower, like in your rectum, make sure that you give us a call. Don't hesitate, okay? Otherwise, we're going to get this whole bag of fluids in. Whenever you have to use the bathroom to go pee, we want you to, because a full bladder can also irritate things and make you keep contracting. So we want you to be hydrated, because dehydration can make you cramp too much, but a full bladder can too. So. We'll put a little probe on your toe. I've never had anything happen, but we have the antidote in here if we ever have to. So if you feel short of breath, you just have to let us know, okay? And then the highest risk for you having any problems like that is when you, is in that first 20 minutes when we're giving you a lot of it. So we'll be staying in here to make sure that you are fine, and if we have to, we'll give it. But like I said, never had to. We give pretty safe amounts.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to see is the flow, doing good there. And when the blood pressure starts to get funny, okay, or starts to increase or whatever, then we would are like, ooh, maybe something's going on with the placenta that's not feeding the uterus, feeding baby well.
And that's what they were saying.
So yeah.
She's had 8 out of 8 on 5 physical profiles.
Yeah, it was 8 out of 8 the last appointment.
Okay, yeah, and that's part what they're doing is the Doppler flows, was the Dopplers, just to also assess that. Yeah. If something starts to look funny with that, then we also will have maternal fetal medicine they will do Dopplers in the baby's brain. We don't do that in our office.
Yeah.
In which case let's check the labs today first and see if there's something going on with that placenta, like is it separating, because usually those people come in banging out contractions like crazy, so. When they're decides, it makes my job harder because I have to make the decision when to throw in the towel and say, let's get you delivered because you're like laboring kind of thing. But when they're head down, I let the kid make the decision. And if the baby decides to come, the baby decides to come. And like I said, we've got you on a big guns medicine to stop it. It's not stopping it, So I think if they're going to break through, you're going to break through. So I'll have a neonatologist come talk to you about 32-week babies. And
so she'll need to grow a little bit in a heated incubator, but we can definitely get her out and you guys can hold her and stuff when we feel like she's stable enough. Okay, she'll definitely have some kind of IV. Most 32-weekers get just like a peripheral like you have. Some will get lines in their belly button. If they need a little extra help, either one you'll be able to hold with. Okay.
Okay, so she's little still. All right.
So 32 weeks is still plenty far along, but the baby will be in the NICU for probably a month, maybe a little bit longer. We always tell parents the baby could go home by the due date, but oftentimes it's earlier than that. As far as breathing support and stuff, it's going to be pretty similar to your 35-weeker, except for it'll take a little more time for the baby to learn how to eat and really master those skills. Okay.
So we could try to breastfeed?
So probably not right away, but we won't be far off. So as long as the baby looks good and isn't on too much respiratory support, we can probably start some breastfeeding around 33, 34 weeks.
Okay.
So we're pretty close to that. Because the baby is earlier, we will have you pump off the milk first, and we'll do what's called a dry breastfeed, where it's mostly just for practice. And then when we feel like the baby's ready for it, then we'll actually let the baby get some milk. Good question. So we'll have you just pump it and store it for now, and then we'll take care of the freezing part of it if we need to. Okay? But you will want to start pumping right away just to stimulate your body.
I can't imagine having contractions and then having someone push on you at the same time. It's not cool. So, I'm sorry. No. You can't help that you're having contractions. Fine. I'm just measuring that tummy there. You're good. Okay? I do have to measure that head, and I was just kind of waiting around for baby to get into a good spot for that, so we're going to wait for that.
Diaper bag.
Yeah, so the next step will be tomorrow is to have somebody check your cervix. Unless it looks like you go into labor tonight. I mean, that could certainly happen in the middle of the night. If you feel an increase and even the nurses are going to be very aware of what's going on with your uterus too. And so if they see that your contraction frequency is picking up and you're starting to contract every 2 minutes, then somebody is more likely to check your cervix even before tomorrow. And if you go into labor, you go into labor. We've done everything we can to help protect the baby as far as getting steroids on board and everything. And there's really there's not going to be anything you can do to stop these contractions. yes, we can give those medicines that theoretically stop labor, but they're very, very time limited. We've tried giving those medicines for extended periods of time to women to prevent them from going to labor. They don't work. Actually, I'm surprised we even use any of those medicines anymore.
We both knew it was going to come back, and it did. Well, it came back positive for opiates because we gave you this data. So we know about that. That is fine. But yes, that's why I didn't know where I knew it didn't matter. But we good. Okay. But we'll see. I'll go get on the nurses. We'll get the lab people in here so that if we can, if you want to get up and shower, you can. Unless it goes lower.
When he left out of here, she was like, "Do you think I'm on meth?"
No, not
She
at
was
all.
like, I had a patient that was like this, but we found out later on she was on meth, and
Yeah.
then she was like, "Well, do you think I'm on meth?" I was
No,
like,
not
I
at
heard
all.
that.
So,
I just got one more question. Because she's not bleeding nowhere, where's the blood has to be going like somewhere, like comfortably low, like is she bleeding in the inside or something?
Not necessarily, no. So that's why we're watching so many counts, because you could be right, that could be happening for something what we call a concealed abruption, which is where there can be some bleeding behind the placenta. So like the uterine wall is here, the placenta is kind of like attached to it, and then the umbilical cord comes off the placenta to the baby, right, who's inside. So a concealed abruption, what can happen is this underside of the placenta can start to separate from the uterus and cause some bleeding. Now we know that up to about 60% of the placenta could be completely off.
It's hell to be like this and uncomfortable for a while. We get too. I mean, if you'd like to have a psychiatry type person come and see you, they might be able to offer just some sort of a medication that, again, that's safe for the baby, but again, that's another medication potentially.
No, we're not going to take it.
I wish I had answers.
Cause I definitely can't sit here and watch her go through this for another 6 days. That's just like, I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. Like,
That's why I said, I mean,
I'm so lost on what to do right now.
We've had Dr. Stone, the high risk, specialist, look at things, and we've talked to him a couple of times along the line too. I mean, I know he's only been here the one time, but we've talked with them they're kind of short-staffed right now. But we've talked to Dr. Stone several times too.
Okay.
And he just doesn't know. He hasn't been able to think of anything else to offer.
I heard to be uncomfortable for that many days is kind of like belligerent.
Yeah,
because
I understand. I mean, I understand. I do.
Like, I want my baby to be healthy, but also don't want to, like, 2 weeks of contractions or however long he's gonna last. So y'all ruled out there's no internal bleeding?
Well, we can't see that there is, and if there was some internal bleeding to spark this, the fact that her blood count is rising would be a strong indication that there's no current internal bleeding.
Okay.
If there was, that may have led to some prolonged discomfort and contractions. And in theory, if let's just say there was some bleeding initially, it was causing contractions, causing discomfort. Now I've been doing this for a little over 30 years, and I've never seen a patient do this ever. So it's very perplexing. We were talking earlier that one of the things that might cause this sort of thing is some bleeding inside the uterus. And her blood count was going down a little bit initially.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in a more comfortable position if you want, Jasmine. So her blood count was going down initially, so we kind of thought maybe that's what was happening, because that might potentially consistently irritate the uterus.
So like we still.
But I do,
on Monday,
it's frustrating.
We're kind of like
is.
Still where we were Monday.
Yeah,
and we're still there.
Yeah, kind of.
Because she was.
We've tried a couple things in the interim, but they haven't worked. So it's I really get it, guys. It's incredibly. I get that it's incredibly frustrating. It's, like I said, it's very, very, very frustrating to us too.
Yeah.
And I've never seen this before, but it was, which maybe helps us for the next patient that this happens to. But again, it's been 30 years for me. This is the first time, so I don't know that I'll ever see this again.
Yeah.